Let's expand the conversation. We speak to Save the Children South Africa CEO, Gugu Xaba. A very good evening to you, Gugu. Thank you so much for your time. Children's safety is once again in the spotlight as the holiday season starts. Children are more vulnerable during the festive period. Why is that?
Thank you very much, Mpo. As Save the Children South Africa, our view is that festivities increase the neglect of children through parents who become irresponsive at this time. And so our view is that it's important to remind parents on the need to increase their visibility and to also educate children on how to respond in case they are separated from their parents. But at the same time, I think the biggest issue is around the fact that areas like the beach and very busy areas, we have increased support from our disaster management teams and other government structures, police and the military, by making sure that we've got points at which children that have been separated from parents can be taken to. And after that, those children need to be tagged even by parents, which means we are also appealing to parents to at least give the child some form of identification of themselves and identification of the parent. You can put it in the pocket of the child so that the child can be able to be connected to the parent by phone number and maybe residential address. But we do have points, mainly in beaches, where children can be taken care of. Otherwise, the most important person is the parent who's supposed to respond to the need of the child, to care where the child is at any moment during the holiday or even in the household setting. Thank you.
How effective would such a tag be? A tag with information on a child's wrist? Because, a lot of parents, guardians may never even think to put a tag around the wrist of their child because they assume that, all is well, the child is safe, and that they could never lose them.
Okay. The tag would be effective. One, because some children do not know proper names of themselves and the names of their parents. So the tag could work, but what we advise mainly, even if you write a note with the child's name, contact number of the parent, and put it in the pocket of the child. More so in places like the beach or malls that are very busy, it's always helpful. Tell the child what is in the pocket so that in case a child has a need, they know what is in their pocket. And usually they see that as very important for them because it's something that helps them to identify themselves. So it works. And I don't think it's every day that a child is at a mall or at a beach. So in those 5 days when you are in a busy place, you can be able to practice that.
Yeah. There's been an increase of about 25% in the number of children in the welfare system since 2019. What does such an increase tell us about, for one, the vulnerability of children and the role of parents and guardians in safeguarding children?
Such an increase is actually telling us that we have an increase in parents that are not responsive to the needs of children. And that actually says some parents have children that either they have not planned for, they are not ready to take care of them because childcare takes time and attention of the parent. And so most of the parents that are increasing the number of children who need welfare services, it's because they are unable to do what they're supposed to do. And as Save the Children, we always say parents need to understand that before you become a parent, it's important that you plan for that particular parenthood because it will need and take a lot of your time. And then what we've also noted, we've got parents that are abusing substances or because of poverty, they find themselves unable to take care of their child. So that increases the number of children who need to be taken care of by the state. Besides, we also have migration in the borders that are bordering South Africa. And you'll find that we have children that get lost or that get posted in a bus and they are separated from the parent, and the child is likely to be unable to even communicate why they don't have a passport, or they do have a passport, it's lost, and many other reasons. So those are some of the reasons why we have children that need welfare.
When it comes to the general public, what role do you think they can play in reporting suspected abuse or neglect of a child to the police?
Community members basically are the second support system for a child. That now means when there is a child around any adult, we want to believe that that adult is responsible for that child. If they feel they do not know anything about that particular child, we are requesting the public to take responsibility and make sure that that child is delivered to the nearest policeman, reported and recorded. And so, in short, as Save the Children was saying, community members need to take responsibility of children or any observed neglect or any observed abuse, whether it's physical, mental, or otherwise. You do have a responsibility to report it, because any abuse that happens in the community affects the community at large. It affects government, because eventually government needs to take care of that particular child or that particular family. So if we report it, we have an ability to reduce its occurrence. Thank you.
So what role do you think, Mekaba, that parents or guardians themselves can play in educating their children to look out for or be aware if abuses of some sort do occur or are about to occur?
Okay. As Save the Children South Africa, with the Department of Social Development, we educate children in early childhood development centers, in schools, in churches, in all platforms where children are, on what abuse is, physical, mental, and otherwise. And we also educate parents themselves. So we want to believe that children and parents are fully informed. And those that are not, we are still educating. We use media, we use print and all forms of media to ensure that we are educating. Now, once children and parents understand what it looks like to be in an unsafe environment, it means they also can be able to observe perpetrators that are likely to maybe be the instigators of that particular violence. So we do request children and parents to observe the environment they are in and the likelihood of an occurrence of an abuse. And when they observe that, they need to remove themselves in that risky environment or report to the nearest adult. And the other thing, as soon as then violence has occurred, it needs to be reported immediately. But it's important to understand the environment that has a likelihood, because once that is done, we can be able to prevent violence from occurring and then reduce the likelihood and ensure that a child is always with a responsible adult. That is important, because then we know that that child is unlikely to be exposed to any form of violence. And the education is all over the country, not just only in the 16 days of activism.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for speaking to us this evening. Save the Children South Africa CEO Gugu Xaba there, speaking to us about ensuring that children are well taken care of during the festive season.